Over here I've already got started by cutting through this PEX pipe and installing this T and bringing it out to a shutoff valve. So I have a shutoff valve here, and the water's coming from underneath. And then I'm going to install this pipe to extend over, and then we're going to install the spin down filter right here, and then the main filter system, and then the UV filter will be over there. So let me show you how some of these things go together. So inside these filter containers are the filters, and they are still sealed with plastic, so we have to open these. So the first filter in line is a sediment filter. It picks up the particles and sand, rust, and scale. The second filter in the series is for picking up chlorine and things like that, the things that make the water taste funny. And the last one is for the heavy metals of iron and manganese. We just need to install those on the bracket, which I already have installed on the wall. And it's just as simple as taking the piece and screwing it straight in and making sure that it gets tight. There's a wrench for it. The filters go in very easily and smoothly. It doesn't take a lot of effort to turn the filter with a wrench, but everything here is cast iron. It's very heavy duty. The easiest thing I found to do is just to push this up and put my finger in the center of the bottom and just spin it on my finger to get it to go straight in. Just give it about a quarter of a turn. That's it, it's that simple. The next thing we need to do is prep all our fittings. Since I have 3/4 inch line, and this has a 1 inch inlet, we have to reduce down to 3/4. So we have to use Teflon tape on everything. Always lay it on there in the direction that it tightens. I usually do about 3 times around. The reason I do it in the direction it tightens is if you do it in the other direction, when you tighten, it will actually just spin back out of the threads. So this keeps it, as you're tightening the fitting in, it stays on the threads. When we do change these filters out, before we unscrew this, there's a pressure relief button here and here and here, and that will release the pressure that's inside of this closed loop system. There's just a small closed loop here that has pressure still on it, and we just release it with those buttons, and then this just comes off. So I have PEX that we're using on this job because the plumbing that comes into the house is PEX, and we're sticking with that. And we have an adapter from the 1 inch down to 3/4 inch. So with the PEX, you can use 1 ring or 2 rings when you do the crimp on these. I like to use 2 because it gives you twice as much surface area, so it's a lot less likely to leak. And we push them in like this and then crimp it. So this is a spin down filter, and it's used to maintain the water that's coming into the system to help reduce the wear and tear on the system. It extends the life of the system by catching a lot of particles in the mesh, and to clean it out about once a month. It depends on, you can look in here and see when it's dirty. You can put a bucket under here, or you can attach a hose to this. You just open the valve and it spins down the water, and it pushes all that back out, comes out here, and then you just close it, and it extends the life of the entire system, and it saves you money in the long run and the short run. On the fittings for this, there is a 3/4 inch female or a 1 inch male that you can attach to. So for our system, we have a 3/4 inch male adapter, and that's what we're going to use. And we just need to put Teflon tape on both sides of this and install it. Push 2 rings to each side, and then we'll crimp that. And I like to do it twice. The good thing about the PEX is in a situation where it could freeze, this will expand to about that big and it won't bust. It will just, the ice will melt and it'll shrink back down and it'll be fine. This is a push-on fitting and it's different than the crimp fittings. What I like to do is pull this little plastic piece in there out far enough that I can see it. And it needs to go inside of the pipe. Otherwise, it will hinder you from pushing it all the way in. So it needs to go inside the pipe. And then I always try to look at these numbers or make a line on the pipe because I know that it needs to go in at least a ½ inch, 5/8. And if I look at these letters, I can tell when it's in. Yeah, so it went in about 3/4 of an inch. So this is the UV water sterilizer. It has a UV light that goes inside of it, so it's very strong light, and it'll keep your family safe from any bacteria. So on these fittings here, it's the same as the other fittings. A 1-inch male fitting, so we need a 1-inch female that necks down to a 3/4 inch female, so that we can attach into our 3/4 inch system. So the first thing that we need to do is get the threaded tape on here. So with the UV filter, I'm going to mount it up high, so I'm going to have to put the light in from the bottom side, and I've got to turn this out so that I can get all my fittings on. But rather than putting all my fittings on up there, I'm going to do it down here on the floor to make it a lot simpler. I know what I need to do because I've already figured it out, and I won't be standing on a ladder working at the very top. I can just do it down here. I need to put elbows on both sides of these, one pointing in each direction, in from the filter, and then over here we go out to the house. So I have everything that I can do down here on the ground ready, so I'm going to install this up on the wall. I've already screwed the brackets to the wall with concrete screws, and hopefully you're not working on concrete, you'll be on wood. It'll be a lot easier. But to put this in, it's very simple. You just snap it in, and these close. I'm trying to line this up here and then snap it closed, and then that's it. And I'll snap that one closed when I get up there. And then for this piece of pipe, the good thing about PEX, it's not exact measurements. I can look and see where I'm at. Just hold my finger there and I can make my cut right there. The good thing about this PEX pipe is it flexes and it's easy to use. Some other types of pipe like copper are not so friendly. So here I am at the top, and all I have to do is get this locked in now. That easy. I just need to make sure my pipe's lined up, and I need to put my valve in here and my T, and I'll be finished. Perfect. So this is the UV light. It goes inside the tube, and on this UV light we have 2 connectors. One of the connectors slides on the end, just like that. Carefully. On the other side, nice and carefully, just slide that up in there. Just push that, and it just clicks right in. And we slide this cap up over the end of it. And then all we have to do is plug this in.